be in jail.
Huh?
I said, I guess if I lose, I'll be in jail.
You will. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It happens.
Yeah, it will. Now, are there any, I understand from Mr. Wildman, there's all kinds of motions and things filed. Are any of those things pending I need to know about?
Not that I'm aware of. I think the motions were all resolved.
And so this is going to be a straight ahead jury trial on that day.
I mean, there's...
I'm not looking at that stuff.
No.
That doesn't interest me. What interests me is the trial on the 27th.
The 27th is...
So, Your Honor, we're scheduled for the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
The trial date is 11/27.
That's all I know up here. My wasn't ended the minute I went out.
No, unless you change, want to change jury instructions. I've got a copy of your proposed jury
That was a good way
instructions.
to
Correct.
We've already sent in.
And I have a copy of the proposed jury instructions.
Okay, what you just heard was actually a scheduling hearing. It was supposed to be a scheduling hearing, which that's a total different situation. I mean, I had a hearing scheduling, the attorney didn't show up. It's supposed to be rescheduling a scheduling hearing, and then it turned it into a pretrial motion hearing, scheduling hearing. You could just hear that they scheduled me for trial on the 27th, which I did appear for trial. I'm being tried twice for the same offense. I beat this case 6 ways to Sunday. The thing is, they just commit another felony every time I win, pretty much. So what you just heard was that there was one date scheduled. It was the 27th, and you heard that all the motions were resolved. And what happens and what's on other tapes, and I have evidence. I actually have the prosecutor giving them up. In this original scheduling hearing, he wasn't appointed. They arranged a meeting. Now coming out the other side of that meeting, my last attorney had filed several motions, and I had motions filed, and he quit. Now, we're not even going to get into it all here. But the thing is, so I filed a disqualification because they conspired against me wherever in Barber County when they had their meeting. The prosecutor has it in her notes in this hearing. She basically rats him out. Now, this court-appointed attorney here, he says that he only talked to the prosecutor. She has it in her notes. She reads it off in the hearing that they did have a meeting. And coming out the other side of that hearing, all my rights were waived. So I was going to go to trial with the clown. The judge is actually scared because they're right in the progress of a felony right now, conspiracy. And the judge is getting worried. So he tries to show him the record to show that the motions are in there. And he has no interest in seeing the record. He doesn't have a copy of the record. I have a letter from him that he had nothing on the record. The only thing he did was he had a backroom deal in Barber County, which we have on tape, and we have the prosecutor has it in her notes, and she confesses to it. And they had a backdoor meeting, and they resolved all my motions to protect Judge Clodges because he's subpoenaed. They didn't want that to come out either, which he was not. He did not appear at the hearing. He was called to cover up another felony backroom deal where the state and the defense counsel impersonated me secretly with the state when the actual respondent in the civil rear prohibition both objected to any changes. They went secret in the back room with Judge Clodges and my attorney in the criminal case impersonated me as a respondent in a pro se case and waived my rights to save the state's case. Okay, so here's the deal. Now they're caught into a conspiracy trying to eliminate all my motions and the subpoena for Clodges, which they've still done that because it's missing from the record. Now, I mean, there's records missing, there's records appearing, there's altered records I can show. I can just go all day with felonies in this case. Okay, so here's the deal. Now they're caught because I did a disqualification because they conspired on me. They waived my stuff and there have been no proceedings. So he has no way to explain what happened. So he calls my dad and starts saying, he's scheduled in this hearing. Now you can clearly hear that there was only one date. That he's calling my dad a liar, saying he has these two to back him up, that he scheduled these dates, right? And here he is. The prosecutor knows full well there's no dates, any other dates. You could hear her right there saying there's no other dates, right? Now here she is going right along, conspiring with me to cover up. I mean, he's sitting there. We got a judge sitting here talking about the 12th that was scheduled. She's supposed to be backing him up. This other clown, Raymond Yakel, he's supposed to be backing him up, but I don't know if that's really going to happen. You know, but this is his story when he calls me on the phone threatening me with warrants on October 31st after this hearing, as soon as I file a motion pro se and flip out about them conspiring and to undermine my right to pretrial motions that were already filed by other attorneys and myself and subpoenas. He got to figure out how to cover up his tracks. So here he goes. Now you listen to this. These are two different hearings. One's first, one's second. This is how he covers up the felonies that he was engaged in. He's still engaging in the felonies. He's still conspiring. And he's caught red-handed. And the prosecutor's giving him up. And I got a lot of tape, man. I've got a lot of tape on these guys. I mean, it's all coming out. Believe that. You believe that. I got it.
As I said, this day was originally scheduled for a jury trial, but the recusal motion was made, I have to find it. It was made a couple of weeks ago. And what happened was we had a date scheduled for pretrial motions, and that date got consumed by the motion to recuse. We didn't do them on that day.
Yeah.
It was back in, looks like, looks like the 12th of this month. We had a pretrial date on the motion. So that didn't occur. And since the day was already on the docket, the court decided to go ahead and use today's date to do pretrial motion. There's been quite a few pretrial motions made that night.
Yeah.
And this case has been ongoing since sometime in 2011. Looks like probably, middle of 2011. Sometimes if I look at the case, I will have to look at the complaint. I don't have it in front of me. But what the court anticipates doing this morning, unless I hear an objection, is to go over the pretrial motion. I don't know, have you ever had a hearing date to discuss or pretrial motions to be ruled on?
No.
Okay. Now, I have gone through the file and I have pulled what I can see as motions made to the court. Okay? And if none of these motions have been ruled on, then I think the court's responsibility is to rule on the motion.
Remember, what motions do you have? Because I'm wondering if some of those are contained in the motion to proceed pro se.
You know, and I'm not sure. Yeah, the jury trial fee's like $300. I don't know. Yeah, you gotta pay mileage for each of the jurors.
Yeah.
It can vary.
Yeah.
She says right now,
I'm
I'm
not
free
really
on
big fan of
27th
it.
all day, so I said, book me.
If I lose, I'll be in jail. So
Huh?
I said, I guess if I lose, I'll be in jail.
You will. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It happens.
Yeah, it will. Now, are there any, I understand from Mr. Wildman, there's all kinds of motions and things filed. Are any of those things pending I need to know about?
Not that I'm aware of. I think the motions were all resolved.
And so this is going to be a straight ahead jury trial on that day.
I mean,
I'm not looking at that stuff.
No.
That doesn't interest me.
I
What
was
interests
telling
me
you,
is the trial on the 27th.
The 27th is the day before Thanksgiving, and I might be out of town that day. But if you can't do the other day, I'll try to rearrange my plan.
I'll tell you why I can't. That is Judge Minor's trial week that has been set since
Week
June.
before that.
That 19th to 20th, and that's his trial week. in
I'll
June.
rearrange mine.
Do it on the 27th?
Yeah, I'll rearrange.
It should just be a morning trial. You have witnesses? So, Your Honor, we're scheduled for the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
The jury trial date is 11/27.
That's all I
9
know
o'clock.
here. My
Is there any other
wasn't
date I
in
need
the minute I went out.
No, unless you change, want to change the jury instructions. I've got a copy
We've
of
already
your
put them in.
proposed jury
That was a getaway.
instructions. Correct.
We've already put them in.
And I have, a copy of the proposed jury instructions from the defendant. Okay, so I do have jury instructions, and I do have a witness list or a subpoena request, okay? If that changes, notify the court. Other than that, we'll send subpoenas out to those people.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you very much.
See you on the 27th.
So I understand what you're saying.
Okay, so that's it. You know, I'm supposed to have a scheduling hearing. You know, the attorney doesn't show up. I have a scheduling hearing. They turn it into a scheduling hearing / pretrial motion. The man ain't never legally set the case for trial, and I'm already doing scheduling and playing it out, have pretrial motions, but he doesn't even properly set a trial date by the law. Number two, I show up for that trial, nor me nor the prosecutor continued the case. And the little man just pulls the rug and changes it to something else. It's conspiracy to deprive me of a lawful trial. I appeared for the trial. The man didn't reschedule the trial. He didn't change anything. He could have held his little motions right there like he plans on doing this trial. He could have heard them, or I may have waived them. The thing is, I appeared for the trial. He changed it to something else. He blindsides me with the motion here. He just completely changes it. Doesn't print a notice, doesn't print a change, which he doesn't print a change on October 31st, but he does print a notice on the 31st. I have the record of the phone call when he called my dad threatening me. I still had an attorney when he called my dad and me threatening me with warrants on a hearing that he created out of thin air, like he just created this motion hearing out of thin air, like he creates anything he wants feloniously, any way he wants to create it feloniously. You're a felon, period.